All right. So thanks again for joining us at our almost weekly meetings of the Community Connectivity Grant Committee meeting. It's virtual today, Tuesday, May 25th, 4:03 p.m. Here present and accounted for Bonnie Ream-Snyder from the committee, Frank Pappalardo from the committee, Jim Lampos from the committee, Eric Olson from the committee, our design engineer, Kurt Pretrona from BSE Group, and myself, Mary Jo Nozo from the committee. Tim Griswold is not apparently going to be able to join us today. So ideally, we thought we would start with public comment. There is no public, but I'll just make a shout out in case it's not showing up. Is there any public on the call today? So moving on, the first thing was hopefully a project update and any base plan cost estimates. We have a few outstanding concerns. That's the next part of the agenda. We have minutes to approve, time allowing. So I want to get us in and out as quick as possible. But I'll let Kurt talk about the project update, and if you guys have anything you want to add during the conversation, just jump in. Okay, Kurt.
Okay, thank you. I'll give the update divided between Shore Road and Harford Avenue. I'll start with Shore Road. The last segment of sidewalk is currently being installed essentially at the end of the project. They are now rapidly proceeding towards Old Colony Road. They're currently working in the area between Swan Avenue and Old Colony. On Friday, the segment up to Swan Avenue was poured. So that work's proceeding rapidly. We envision literally over the next couple of days, we will have concrete all the way up to Old Colony. So essentially that will complete the physical part of the concrete installation for the sidewalk. New curbing installation will begin this week. That'll start up near Cross Lane and proceed down similar to the rest of the work. And then essentially following the curbing installation, inevitably this will spill into next week, they will follow with their topsoil and seeding on Shore Road. And for the most part, that's the main portion of the project. We know that the striping and the crosswalks will follow. He didn't mention those today in the construction update, but I suspect those would be probably in the time frame of not next week, but somewhere in the following week or even into the following week. We do have another construction meeting with him on June 7th. So we'll clearly get another detailed update. I'm sorry, June 8th. But by that point, I think we will be substantially complete across the board. Hartford Avenue, 100% of the concrete sidewalks are in, 100% of the bituminous curbing is in, all the topsoil is in, all of the reinforcing material for the turf driveways is in, that has been seeded. The bituminous driveways have been installed. Sod was supposed to be this week, but we just received a note that it may be delayed into next week because of some supply issues from the sod farms.
Kurt, I don't mean to interrupt you, but since you brought up the sod, I did talk with Ed Adante today, and he indicated that they don't have the equipment to water the sod or the driveway sod, you know, the reinforced turf seeding on the driveways at this point, nor does he have the manpower. So on May 11th, I had emailed Connecticut Water, our friend Dwayne, and I've not heard back from him. My thought was maybe we could use the hydrants for a water source. So if the sod isn't going to be available, sounds like that gives us a little bit of time to figure out the watering situation.
Yeah, it does. And I just want to stress that watering the sod and the seed. Keep in mind, some of the homeowners may take it upon themselves to water the seed on their property, which is great, but absolutely critical that the sod get watered in. The nice thing about sod is it's nice and green when it first goes down. It's great, but it will quickly burn and die if it's not watered consistently, because it has no root system. So the watering will keep it alive and allow those roots to get into the subsoil so it can establish itself, particularly because it's at the edge of the road where it's going to get hot, and we are getting into the summer season. You know, temperatures are pushing 90, and not ideal weather for turf grasses. So watering those materials is absolutely critical to allowing them to get established and to look good. Once we get into the fall growing season, it'll be great. That grass can get well established, and coming into next spring, it's going to look really, really nice. But we will run into an issue if we don't keep it watered through the summer, where it's going to brown and die.
Do you think this might be another flyer situation where we drop some flyers, informational requests to homeowners to say, you know, over the next 2 weeks, the sod is going in, but we're going to need your help watering it?
That's actually a good idea. And you could even include the fact that, hey, your driveway, for those that have the grass driveway, it may look barren now, but if you give it a nice little watering every few days, pretty soon you're going to see beautiful green grass coming up, and it's going to, you know, really sprout, and you'll be very pleased with the way it looks. I think that's a good idea. And then, yeah, you know, in the public right of way, somebody may elect to not water. We don't want things to turn brown and die because of that. So it would be really good if somehow we could figure out a way to get, either if the town hires summer help or something like that, to just give this sod a spritz of water every few days.
I did ask
Mary Jo.
today if the Rangers could do it. Oh, I'm sorry, Bonnie.
No, that's okay. I just, it seems to me that we should be able to get, even through Park and Rec, maybe somebody that they would normally hire for the camp that might be able to put in a few hours. I know that a few years back, we got these containers for water that go on a trailer. And maybe, you know, once a week or twice a week, Ed can get them down there to have access to the water with some means of, you know, getting the water to the grass. It's probably not going to be an ideal situation, but it seems that we really have to get somebody to water it. It's just, this is crazy that we can't get anyone to water.
Well, you know, I want to, Bonnie, I understand that, but I've been trying to solicit a landscaper to come down to Soundview to pull some weeds and to plant some flowers. We've submitted 10 requests, called, emailed. I can't get anybody to even respond. Nobody wants to even respond.
Wow.
So, I mean, by the way, if anybody knows anybody who could come down and pull some weeds and plant some flowers, that'd be great. Have them get in touch with me. But it's trying to get help is impossible. I know what Ed and the other guys are going through.
Well, maybe Don from Park and Rec has some kids that come back each year and, you know, might be willing to, we could maybe put this together and keep them busy for a while. I would reach out to Park and Rec at any rate,
Okay.
and see what can be coordinated. I know that we have those, I forget what they're called, but they're big containers for water. And, you know, I don't know if a hose can be put on them or what, but Ed,
Well,
You mean the
that's
big
what Ed told me.
the big square box on IBC, intermediary bulk container?
I don't know. I
He
talked
told
to
me,
Ed. He's
Yeah.
got 2 of them for emergency water.
yeah, he said that what he has will wipe all the seed out, that we need more of a sprinkler type of setup.
Well, anyone that we hook up a sprinkler to is going to want some reimbursement for their water because they pay for the water down there. So that should be something, you know, if we're asking them to water, I think we should offer something, you know, something. I know it's not that much water, but I think, you know, with some of the angst that people felt with the project, I don't think they're gonna run out to say, oh yeah, I'll water the grass.
I think
Uh,
half aren't there too. That's, a lot of people still
Yeah.
aren't in cottages. So even if we had goodwill from everyone that was there, a lot of people aren't there. So it's going to be pretty,
Right.
Yeah,
we do need a consistent effort. And I know that landscapers have water trucks, and they do water areas that don't have, you know, pipes that they'll bring a water truck out. But like Frank said, everyone's pretty slammed. So I don't know what the prospects are of actually getting somebody. A
Yeah, I
landscaper.
I mean,
agree.
I have a water container and a water truck myself, but I don't even have any people to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's why I'm saying Don might know some people that would have come back, you know, each summer. He's used to hiring, you know, 20 people for
yeah,
6
I
weeks.
I can reach out to him. Again, the police were nice today. He said, well, they have rangers, we can have them do some of that. So it sounds like maybe between the two organizations, we can get some
Yeah.
help. It's just getting the water down there and then getting it somehow from the truck and not wiping out the seed on the properties.
And I'll
think
suggest too, oh, go ahead, Bonnie.
I think they're called buffalo tanks, Frank. The tanks for
Oh.
the water.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, go ahead, Kurt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Another option, if we can hear back from Connecticut Water Company with a confirmation that we're able to use their hydrants, you could also, because we have 2 hydrants within the project area, right? The one up by Easy Mart and the one that's about halfway down, near the Hurahan residence. You could put an adapter on one of the hydrant connections that essentially reduces it to a garden hose size.
A hydrant tap.
That's right. And then literally just tell the homeowner at that particular location, is it okay if temporarily there's just a coiled up hose right here while we're establishing this grass? And then literally all somebody needs to do, the person that's assigned to it or whatever, they go down there, they open the hydrant. So they would just have a hydrant wrench and then they water the grass. And then when they're done, they shut the hydrant off, coil the hose back up, and they're done. And the same thing could happen up near Easy Mart. You get a 50, 100 feet of garden hose at each location, and then you eliminate the need for water trucks and everything like that. And it's just the cost of some hoses.
Hmm.
Do we have a water service at the bocce court?
No.
Hmm.
No.
Well, it sounds like we have been given a little bit of time to put this together. Unfortunately,
Sir, let me ask a question. Would it be the costs I think are pretty close to the same, but hydro seeding versus, I mean, turf would be the best way to go, but we also have the concern of the burning. What about hydro seeding?
Hydro seeding would essentially have the same issue because you would plant the areas. It would still need to be watered in order to germinate. Otherwise, it would just stay there. It wouldn't germinate, wouldn't necessarily die, but with the wind erosion, rainfall, eventually it would get dispersed, and then you'd get limited spotty germination, depending on how much rain we get. Going into July, that spotty germination would all just burn off, and you would have
We had a big rainstorm that turned into a big mud pie too.
you'd have dust all summer long.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons we went with a sod, is to kind of, depending on the way the season went, we didn't want to create a dust storm either. We figured it would instantly cover the soil for the dust matter specifically. Looking good was almost secondary. We wanted that instant stabilization. Oh, and I did just look up a hydrant adapter, like you mentioned, Frank. It's $25. Pretty low cost, and then a garden hose is another $50. Even if you had to literally go buy this stuff straight up. And then you just need a person. And then I'm sure the fire department or even Connecticut Water could give you the hydrant wrench, and that would be assigned to that person. And then they could just literally show up and spend a couple of hours just spraying.
Mary Jo,
Yes.
do you know who you spoke to at Connecticut Water?
I emailed a fellow named Dwayne. Can't remember his last name right now, but I have his email.
Pruitt.
Because there's the person that I knew was in charge. I think his name was Craig Patla or Patka, something like that. And he was always very responsive. If there's a better person to talk to, he'll at least get you that.
Okay, thank you. Wasn't there somebody else we were working with, Frank, on the water project?
Yeah, Chris W. something or other, and Dwayne Pruitt is the actual field guy. I'm gonna go stick his name up if you need it, Mary Jo.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, we'll try all our leads and see what we get.
I think that by far the best answer so far is to just put a hydrant tap on it, get some hose, and have somebody go down there every couple of days and just squirt the grass.
Right. Right.
Least aggravation.
Yeah. Grass and the driveways.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and to your point, I saw them laying the reinforced turf. It's very cool. You would never know it's under there. Okay, all right. So it sounds like you're right, Frank, and group will just try and get a group together to do this, rather than ask for neighborhood support, hoping they do it anyway. Okay, sorry to interrupt you, Kurt.
Oh, no, absolutely. So yeah, Hartford Avenue, that was the sod issue. That's kind of unfortunate, but we're kind of seeing a lot of strange things like that right now with supplies at various levels of various types. And I think the critical part there is the water. So that, to me, that's an extremely important issue. As you said, Mary Jo, we have a few days, it appears, to try to get this worked out, but really, really important. Once the sod goes down, we have to keep it watered. And really, for Harford Avenue, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much done. So that's good news. Mary Jo, do you want to talk about 21 Harford Avenue?
Okay.
I mean, we got a solution. It's good. We're all set, but
yeah, we'll start from the north and go south. Today, I got a call from the contractor, the 21 Hartford Avenue. That's one of the Cohen rental properties. This was the house that had that wooden step, the stoop at the bottom, and as part of the temporary rights agreement, we agreed to remove that wooden stoop and put in a concrete stoop per code. when the contractor today pulled off the wood, they found there's concrete already underneath that old concrete, and it's pretty deep. It's, you know, it's at least 8 inches deep, and it goes back quite a bit. It goes back maybe 3 feet underneath the existing stairs. So it was a field discovery. And the contracting team had some possible solutions. So I went down there, and the homeowner was called, and he was able to come over, and he felt the solution, one of the solutions wouldn't be safe. And one of the solutions was just to pour more of a stoop up to the bottom step, which would be the bottom step. And he felt that would be a trip hazard. So I called Kurt, and and we brought over the foreman of the day. We had quite a lengthy discussion. I think the solution is good, and I'll let Kurt talk about it. The homeowner is pretty agitated to the point that I raced back here and sent Tim a revised work plan suggestion based on what we discussed, because I'm not comfortable doing any work down there until he signs off on it. So Kurt, why don't you tell what we decided?
Yeah, so as Mary Jo said, with the existing slab that's under there, it's pretty substantial, and it appears to support the lower portion of the stairs that are coming off the house. So its removal is kind of opening up a can of worms, not knowing how the stairs are fastened to it. There's so many issues that relate to that. So what we ended up deciding would be the best course of action is to clean off the existing slab, acid wash it, and then the contractor is going to put a topping slab over the existing slab. So it will level it out. It'll fix all the deteriorated edges. It'll look like a brand new slab. That's the most expeditious way to do it. It also won't have an effect on the riser heights of the stairs. So per code, we need to have uniform riser heights. It won't have an impact on that versus trying to do something where we're retrofitting and filling in against the steps and stuff. So anyway, that's what the contractor is going to pursue. The homeowner verbally approved it, and then, as Mary Jo said, get something in writing. But he seemed on board with it, so that's how we're gonna proceed.
All right.
Sounds reasonable.
Does it cost us anything, Kurt, anymore?
No change order.
Okay.
But because
Then I'll like it even more now.
I think the other solutions would have been more costly. And I think after Kurt hung up, I think the subsequent calls or discussion with Mr. Cohen, I didn't feel he was quite on board as when Kurt was talking to him. So that's why I told him that, look, I really feel this is work on your property, and I feel you should see what we're going to do in writing and approve it. And he wasn't quite on board with that, but I still felt very comfortable with writing up something. And I did tell the contractor that I really don't want them to do any work until he signs off on this, because he just kind of flip-flopped with me after Kurt got off the phone. So I
think
know
that was wise.
Michelle got the letter to Tim. I'm just waiting to see if he signed it. So
And where will the language come from for the man to sign?
I took the letter we sent him originally, included the original language and then the revised scope with the stoop.
Okay.
Do you guys want to hear it, or?
No, I just want to make sure you're comfortable with the language that's put in there, and either Kurt should look it over.
Oh,
or,
I did send it to Kurt. Kurt gave it a
Oh, good.
okay too. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did that just 5 minutes before this call. Thank you, Kurt, again.
My pleasure.
So we'll see. I just really feel that we should have this okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is number 27, the Hurricanes. We're just waiting on the fence, correct, Kurt?
Yeah, that's correct. The contractor came back. Was it a week before last, I think? Mentioning something about having some trouble getting supplies. So I clarified the exact fence that Mary Jo and I had discussed with Mr. Hurahan, I think a couple of weeks ago when we met him at his house. He literally showed us the catalogs. So the contractor has that, and we're just, at this point, we're just waiting to hear on availability of that fence.
Okay. Number 29, Butcher residence. I guess over the weekend, there were some developments, there were some emails. I don't have any personal update on that other than they
I don't
feel,
know anything about it either,
okay,
other than what I saw.
yeah, that's, okay. I've tried to copy you guys. They're kind of coming fast and furious. Then the Portalances, I was really hoping Tim would be here for this one because I'm not really sure who's on first. When I was down at the Cohen residence, the contractor had a small concrete truck pull up at the Portalances, and they grabbed me to say, well, does the homeowner want this done now? Or does he know that this is happening? And I said, what's going on? So over the weekend, somebody had taken the decorative stone and raked it over what was the bituminous spot against the sidewalk. And that was one concern we had weeks ago, that the stone could end up on the town property and cause a trip hazard. The contracting guys today told me that actually the homeowner raked the stones to the sidewalk. But apparently it might have been a temporary fix, because apparently the contractor was prepared to put in a concrete slab or driveway today. And since I don't know what agreements have been made and who's on first, I just basically said, I don't have any update on this. If I have anything by tomorrow, I'll let you know. So they didn't do anything as far as I know. And that was the other thing I was trying to reach Tim on today. So
And I thought we were just gonna put the bituminous in according to plan. That was what I thought.
that's how we left it last week.
If we don't have anything in writing and we don't have any agreements with anybody, we can't let this thing drag out forever. We're spending way too much time on this. We're spending way too much of Kurt's time, chewing up hours left and right. Done. Put the bituminous in. That's it. Done. They want to yank it out later. That's their problem.
That's what we
I'm
were
sorry.
at last week.
There's
No,
only so much you could do.
that's where we were last Tuesday. And, oh, Bonnie?
It sounds like there might have been miscommunication with the contractor if they showed up to pour a concrete apron. Because from us, I think we all thought that bituminous was going to go down and Portalances could deal with it on their end.
That's right.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think what happened was Tim was under some impression that they were going to pay for the concrete, and he told Lavero, Dan to do it, and then we get this other email and now they don't want it, and then it's like back and forth. So I can understand why the contractor thought he was going in there, because probably when they spoke to Tim last week, that's what they were told. And like what Frank said, I mean, the plan is bituminous. I don't understand why they're dictating what's going to get done. Every time we reach and an agreement is made, they change it. It's waste. Too much of our time has been wasted on this.
Yep.
I couldn't agree
So
more.
who's responsible to tell the contractor to put the bid in? That's my question.
Well, at
Him or
last,
us?
at last Tuesday's meeting, as you guys recall, I asked Tim to take over. I mean, I asked him, would you continue this issue because he's been interacting with the homeowner. Our project, we as project owners decided bituminous.
Bituminous is what we had. And right now I'm looking at a
Yes.
photo of Old Line GIS. I'm not sure exactly what date this was taken, but it's a bituminous apron going up to the gravel. And the only thing we've done differently is we now have a sidewalk going through what was that bituminous apron and putting in a new bituminous apron. It was determined that the first pass wasn't, up to snuff, so we're redoing it. And I don't see where, if it gets done properly, it's going to be different than what was there. They had gravel up to bituminous.
They had decorative rock.
Right. A
Yeah.
decorative rock. The rock is nice. I like it. I saw what they did as a temporary fix to rake it. And I honestly, when I saw the first pass of the bituminous, I thought, well, the edge is rough, but they could have put some more rock in or whatever, and made that work. But now, we're going to do it properly. And I don't see where it's any different than what was there before.
Okay. Well, if
This
it's
concrete is just ridiculous. Because what we can't have happen is the Port Lances say, which they've done, they've rejected this saying it's too expensive. You can't get their friend Joe Blow to come in and just do the job, because then we're responsible for it. It's on our right of way. So, what kind of material is Joe Blow going to use? How long is it going to last? What if he injures himself on town property? Blah, blah, blah. There's all kinds of issues there. So we have to button this up. We can't let, just any old random thing happen.
And we can't let them dictate what's going to happen either. Can't let the Borderlands dictate it. We're dictating.
and they are. They absolutely are.
So Tim negotiates some deal. He tells us, they're going to pony up $1,200 and they're going to upgrade to a concrete apron. Well, with our contractor, okay, whatever. And then we get this other email following up with Portland saying, hold your horses. It's not what we agreed to at all. We'll do it ourselves. So if they want gravel up to the back of sidewalk, which is what they have right now, or decorative stone, we have to find out if that's even code. I'm not sure that it is, and Kurt can probably answer that for us.
I would, as your engineer, I would not recommend that the stone directly abut the sidewalk. I have a couple of concerns. Number one, stone has a high potential to get on the sidewalk, which is, as you know, public property. It creates a tripping hazard. Additionally, the stretch of property between the back of sidewalk and the property line / right of way is also town property. Therefore, theoretically, the segment of gravel driveway that would be on town property would be the town's responsibility and the town's liability. So in other words, if somebody walking down the street, if it was crowded, they decided to walk over that area and it was soft, or they lost their footing, the town potentially could be liable for that.
Well,
it's kind of a maintenance issue.
Our hands are tied now. Number one, Portland's took us to take a hike with a $1,200 concrete apron, told Tim to take a hike. We can't do the gravel up to the sidewalk. So what does that leave with? The plan, the bituminous, which is just replacing what was there.
To code.
I don't think we have a, I don't think there's anything else to discuss at this point. What choice are we left with? What's there now? Gravel up to the back of the sidewalk, as Kurt eloquently just said, not acceptable.
Is the committee okay if I inform the contractor then that the project requires him to follow the plan.
Yes,
Most definitely. You want to vote on that? I motion that Mary Jo take the opportunity to tell the contractor to construct that apron according to plan.
okay.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Bonnie. Any more discussion?
Help
All in
us,
favor?
God help us, none.
It's unanimous. Okay, hopefully that is the end of that discussion. And then the bituminous ramps that are shorter than planned was brought up today. Kurt's going out to the project at some point tomorrow and identify which ones need to be repaired. So while they're doing Port Lances, hopefully they can do the others.
By the way, I think it would be advantageous to get those ramps and all the asphalt done on Harford Avenue before the weekend. I don't know if that's doable, Kurt, with the contractor's other scheduling, but I think that would be good.
I will be there tomorrow, and the first thing I'm going to look at are those transition sections between back of sidewalk and the property line. And if they're not done, I'll immediately seek out the foreman that's filling in for the primary foreman and find out what, we were told last week that those would be done very quickly. I fully expected them to be done this week. So I will be disappointed if those aren't done.
I just had a question on the status and with the butcher's property. With
Mhm.
what I know the plan was for turf. Was that done today? Because I think I looked at it last night and I didn't see it done. So is that what's supposed to go on that property, Kurt? The reinforced?
Yes, and
Okay.
it's our understanding based on our construction meeting with the contractor that it is done,
Oh, okay.
but I will verify when I'm there tomorrow.
Yeah, because they're the only ones that really can't even get into their property right now. That's without a I think they had a big stone there. I mean, they were getting in there, but that's certainly for this weekend. I was just wondering about that, but I didn't go down there today.
And to my eye, they definitely did some work on the driveway. It looks a lot better than it did last
Oh,
time.
okay. Okay.
I don't know if it's finished, but they did. They definitely worked on it.
Okay, good.
The decorative posts are still trying to be, I guess, identified and priced. So we're still working on that, although Kurt's helping where he can with Dan. I did not get a chance to go and ask Town Hall if they could find the old one yet. But Dan today at our meeting basically said he's having a real struggle getting any feedback from the manufacturers regarding pricing. So it may again be the supply chain is just a mess right now. But he's working it. And Kurt, you could tell everybody what you did to help Dan.
Yeah, so we gave him all the specific to the decorative light post. We've given him all the materials, the contact info for the company that supplied both the pole and, if you recall, we had some issues with the breakaway base, so I gave him all that material also. And he has it. He said the issue is he's having trouble getting responsiveness from the supplier, and it almost sounds like they won't even commit to pricing, possibly because pricing is so fluid right now. So he's extremely frustrated. He said he's going to keep trying. And similarly with the transit hub, he got that preliminary design last week, and I put together some supplemental information for him to really help him expedite his costing, to the point where I literally gave him a little packet of websites, model numbers, and those kinds of things, so he doesn't even really need to look at the plan. I even gave him quantities and stuff, so he can just hand it to someone and say, start working the phones. So hopefully that will expedite his cost estimating for the transit hub.
So there we are on that. As far as the boulders, for the Nickerson property, I have no update. Has anybody else?
We talked to Paul this weekend, I think on Friday night. I asked him on another subject. I asked him if he looked at boulders, and he said no, he hadn't. He was thinking about getting over there. I tried to get a hold of him all weekend, and he didn't return my phone calls.
Okay. Well,
Another landscaper that I can't get a hold of. So I said, I don't know what's going on.
okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we will hold on that, and hopefully he'll get over there and take a look at him, because I don't really know what else we can do until he takes a look at it.
I'll be placing calls to him again. I'll
Okay.
try to reinforce that subject.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cohen today, I forgot when we were on his property, mentioned that he had one of his, I don't know if it was a tenant or a fellow who, anyway, the fellow lives behind number 21, and he apparently tripped, was not reported to me until today, on the what will be the service area. Certain kind of is apparently is what he described as his foot sort of went off the sidewalk and he tripped in, you know, where the mailboxes will be. And was concerned about that. So I just thought we should at least acknowledge that, you know, maybe until we get grass growing, maybe we need to consider some other safety measures so people don't go off the edge.
There should be the topsoil hasn't been placed. At least it wasn't placed there this morning. The
Yeah,
upper
it's
portion-
there.
Okay, because the upper portion of Harford Avenue did not have the topsoil in the curb cut area, and it was a trip hazard. And we mentioned this way back at the beginning, to have some sort of barricade tape or guidepost so people wouldn't fall into that. All weekend it was open. There was no topsoil in that utility strip.
Okay. We'll definitely make sure they have topsoil in those areas before the holiday
And
weekend.
I'll look there tomorrow and report back.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't look at that specifically, and I don't know if the topsoil was in when this gentleman supposedly fell. So, I don't know. I said I'd mention it.
I've got a few minutes here. I have to leave by 5, so I just wanted to mention that if there's anything we have to vote on or anything of that
Yes.
nature.
Yes, quickly. Is there any other outstanding issues?
I don't know if it fits in here or not, but I wanted to throw out an idea about the surplus that we have. Since the decorative posts appear to be on hold, I'm not sure what Kurt has on the travel center or bus stop. An
I can
alternative
update you.
or an additional idea is bituminous curbing on shore, since the bituminous is going in at the end of this week, next week. A lot of the existing curbing looks like crap. So I was wondering if we wanted to consider doing all new bituminous down shore.
I mean, I personally would rather stick with the transportation hub. I mean, I agree that that Shore Road probably could look better. But it's the state road, they're gonna dig it up in the next year or two anyhow, so, I mean, I just assume put the transportation hub and really reserve our funds for that.
How about if we get the pricing and then we put this Jim's suggestion on backup depending on what we get when we see the pricing?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with, I'll go with that too. I mean,
Okay. The other, if we don't have any more project issues per se, I sent some invoices for BSC for you guys. I just think since Kurt was kind enough to copy me on this, I think it would help get those paid quickly. If I could tell Tim that the committee supports the invoices, and it was like 206 and 207. One is grant eligible, and one was not. One was design services.
So none of them were for the transportation work, that design work. This is all on the Shore Road and Hartford Avenue work that we, okay.
Right, the first phase of this project, yeah,
Oh, Mary Jo, can you tell us what the first amount was?
yes. The first amount, which is grant eligible, is $7,843.30. That is for professional services and, some miscellaneous reimbursable travel. $7,843.30. And that's.
I'll make a motion
Okay.
to approve $7,843.30 for grant eligible payment to VSC.
Thank you, Bonnie.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Frank. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then the second one was 207. And this is for design services for BSC Group in the amount of $8,890.
I'll make a motion to approve the $8,890 to BSC Group for design services, which is not eligible for reimbursement in the grant.
Thank you, Bonnie.
I'll second.
Thank you, Eric. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, guys. Do we want to hold on approval of minutes or do you want to go ahead and do that too?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
From May 18th?
Yes,
Bonnie.
May 18th.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I was there, right?
You were there. So given the fact that we're still waiting to talk about the bid estimates, our next meeting is June 8th. Do we want to meet again next Tuesday, which is June 1st?
I'm trying to schedule it, but if we don't have the estimate by then let's just cancel it.
Okay. I don't know if you guys.
I didn't catch any of that.
She said if she's fine to schedule it, but if we don't have the cost estimates, we can cancel.
I'll buy off on that. Makes sense.
Okay, then we'll have cocktail hour again on June 1st at 4 p.m. Thank you,
Here,
guys.
here.
And then our next regular meeting is June 8th, the following week. All right.
Just water.
All right. If there isn't any other comments, concerns, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Mary Jo, can I add 2 quick items?
Yes.
Is that
Sure.
okay? I apologize. Good things, actually. So I just wanted to confirm, we had talked about the transit hub. It's getting priced right now by Dan. In fact, I apologize. I think I forgot to send you the final preliminary design after I made the changes after our last meeting. I just realized that. So I will get that to you so people could take a look at it. And again,
Okay.
welcome any feedback, thoughts. It's just preliminary design, so any and all feedback is welcome. I did send that to Connecticut DOT, as we had talked about as part of our scope of work, to confirm what their thoughts were, and they confirmed back to me today that everything we have shown, in their opinion, is fully grant eligible.
Well, that's
That they
good.
like the idea of it, so they said, yep, we like the idea. Once your final design is done, pass it along for record, and so that was very good news that we
Oh, that's
received.
great.
Yep.
Wonderful.
I've also
Nice-
talked with,
It's a nice visual to put in their brochure.
yes. And I actually have one thing I'll mention on that, Frank. That's a good reminder. I also have been in contact with District 2 about it. They said in concept, it's fine. They said once you get it finalized, and really, again, all they'll look at is the sidewalk that intersects with the existing sidewalk. That's it, because everything else is on private property. So I don't think that'll be any issue at all. Along those lines, Frank, Craig Babowitz from DOT, I had told him the project was going well, and he was very pleased to hear that. He said, would you mind sending me some photos? He said, because your project has been so successful, we would love to have some photos and maybe even use it to promote the Connecticut or the Community Connectivity Grant Program. So I said,
Oh,
I'd like to
nice.
try to maybe get him some before and after photos. And he was very appreciative of that.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
yeah, so it's this project is looked upon well by DOT. So
Tell them the royalties won't be that much, just extra couple $100,000, and we could call it for them.
I like that. And the last thing was I emailed Dwayne Pert at Connecticut Water Company asking about a temporary hydrant connection.
Oh,
And the person that we need to contact is Walter Majeski. And he did indicate that he passed Mary Jo's message on to Mr. Majeski, but it sounds like he hasn't gotten back to you. So that's Walter Majeski, last name Maejewski.
okay.
He said contact customer service and they will direct you to Mr. Majeski.
Well, that's just perfect. They will be getting a phone call. Thank you, Kurt.
My pleasure.
Way to end the meeting.
Can I chip in one thing really quickly? You know, I'm sure you've all seen the social media commentary, some of which isn't entirely positive. But one thing that we always get is these are sidewalks to nowhere. There are sidewalks from Mile Creek and Cross Lane recreational fields all the way down to the beach. So I think we kind of have to get that out. There's a sidewalk to the beach now that it's almost complete. And number two, when you actually get to the beach, you have benches at the end of Hartford Avenue, and then there's a split rail fence in front of the benches. So that's what you're staring at. So I was wondering if as part of the effort, I think, and that split rail fence, I think was there before the boulders went in, but now we have the garbage cans and the boulders, benches, and then a split rail fence. Maybe we take out that split rail fence, which we can do in 5 minutes, and then we have a clear view from the benches down to the beach, and then we can, you know, that could be the termination, you know, the terminus of our project. You know, it's from, say, tennis courts and Cross Lane all the way down to the beach itself and the view. And that is the justification itself for what we're doing, I think.
Well, hopefully the trash cans will get shuffled around, Eric.
Right.
Yeah.
Soon. But I want, that's a great idea, Jim. I wanted to mention one thing at last night's Soundview Commission meeting. It was brought up that the people that are around there working and things, we all believe that the contractor is doing a very good job. He's functioning well with the community and doing the best he can with circumstances that he's been handed with certain individuals. But other than that, he's doing an excellent job in terms of keeping the project moving. So I just want to pass that along to everybody.
Definitely.
Okay.
That's really good feedback. Thank you.
And Jim, I'll add that the sidewalk on Route 156, in addition to what you mentioned about Cross Lane, it connects down to the transit hub,
Exactly. Yeah.
which
Right.
will also, with the trees and the amenities, really be pretty much a park also.
Mhm.
So that's a destination in and of itself,
Right.
with the
Yeah, I
bike
try
repair
not-
station and those kinds of things.
I try not to debate this in social media. I mean, I read the
Yeah.
article and I read the comments. Well, the comments were that the sidewalks weren't in sound view; they were on Shore Road, and it's you can't. Some people just don't want to know. They
Right.
don't
Yeah.
want to know. They don't want facts. They just prefer to deal with rumor. So
Facebook the story. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
But
so-
what I was thrown today was the magnificent photo that Tim took at the Port Lances. That spoke volumes to some people. So perhaps we do need to have a committee photo up and get that out too.
Yeah, because what put out was a half-done project, which was a little unfair because everyone took that as look what they did. It's like, well, it's not
Yeah.
done. We're halfway through this, we
Yeah.
still
So,
have to
yeah.
go. This isn't what
Maybe
we,
we could all go up to Teddy's and have a photo up taken up there.
perfect idea. I mean, I do think the photo speaks a million words, whatever. And if you're not going to read the details, they look at the photos and make assumptions.
Mm.
Hey, I have to leave. I'm sorry about that, but
That's all right. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Jim. Any discussion? All in favor?
see you
Aye.
next week. Bye.
See you next week. Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. I'll report back after my visit tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Aye.